Hey guys, Dim Gaming here, back with a brand new bit of content on the Resident Evil 4 remake. It's just going to be not really a review, just my thoughts on it. I wasn't really the biggest fan of the original Resident Evil 4, and what I mean by that is it wasn't one I played a lot. I completed it a couple of times over the years, but I never really found myself gravitating back to it. Great game, just didn't polarize me like the original 1, 2, and 3 and the Outbreak games did. However, at this point of making this video, I've already ran through Resident Evil 4 Remake 4 times and I'm on my 5th run on Professional. I've never really played a Resident Evil game and liked it that much that I've just gone straight through and restarted it and did a new game, let alone on my 5th run, so that's saying something about this game. One of the main things I liked is the fact it's such a good remake. It feels like a remake, but it also feels like a brand new game, if you get what I mean by that. Also, the overall darker tone of the game, I'm really enjoying. Don't get me wrong, when I was younger, I enjoyed the cheesy action parts of it, but as I've got older, I don't appreciate that as much in the OG Resident Evil, but they pull it off in a darker way in this, and I'm all for that. One of the things I like, which they've taken from both Resident Evil 2 Remake and Resident Evil 3, is they've hybridized both of the ways those games play. What I mean is, it feels like I'm playing Resident Evil 2, but with some of the mechanics of Resident Evil 3. Not with the dodge per se, but you have a counter attack, which is more reminiscent of 3 Remake than 2 Remake. But they've molded those two styles together quite well, I believe. The story itself is very faithful, but they've obviously added and changed some things. Some more of the characters are a bit more fleshed out, which I enjoy, especially one of my fan favorites, Luis Serra. I'm really happy that he got a bit more of a prominent role. I'm not going to spoil what happened to him in case, for some reason, you haven't watched or played Resident Evil 4. But his role is a lot better, and I am sure that everyone will agree that it is better from the original. He gets a little bit more time to shine. On the subject of characters, this one was a big one for me. I always hated Ashley in OG Resident Evil 4. However, in the remake, she is so much more competent and a likable character. I couldn't give a shit what happened to her in Resident Evil 4 OG, but in this, I felt way more invested in her, and they gave her a lot more redeemable qualities as well. Again, on the subject of characters, Salazar, again, couldn't stand the little shit in the original one, but I like him a lot more in this one. And Leon has some funny moments with him as well, which personally I like a lot better. Basically, Leon doesn't take as much shit from the bosses and decides to put bullets in them mid-sentence. Overall, the characters, I pretty much prefer all of them. I can't really think of any substantial character I like more than I like in the remake. And controversial, but that also includes Ada's voice actress. Did a brilliant job in my opinion, didn't need the death threats. Good for you for bringing a popular character to life that you've already played in live action. Moving on, the extra things that you can do in Resident Evil 4, I really enjoyed. The shooting gallery is back. It's not really a spoiler, it was kind of something I expected to be back, and it would have been a bit weird if it wasn't. The side quests from the merchants also are really fun too. The fact that's how you get spinels and you can buy things with it, such as the Punisher or the Red 9 stock. Really enjoyed that. It just means that you can go backtrack and explore areas because you might have missed a load of items there, as well as the side quest stuff. So I really enjoyed that, and I think that was great to include that. On the lines of the merchant and the saves in particular, the fact that you can now store weapons is a big plus for me. It was kind of annoying where you would, for example in the OG, you would level up the original shotgun, and then the riot gun appears, and then everyone and their mum decided, oh okay, I'm just going to get the riot gun. And then obviously you wasted a lot of time and money upgrading a gun that you're just going to sell. And then you literally just have to buy it back. I like how you can upgrade it to a certain point in this, and then just go, you know what, I'm going to come back to this how it was when I put it in the box. I really like that. That's a really good and substantial feature for me. Overall, it was just a really fun ride, which, as I said, I wanted to jump back on that ride at least 4 more times at this point and go through it all over again. There isn't really anything I don't like about it. If I had to be picky, and really picky, I would say the parry sometimes doesn't work. You have to be at specific angles, in my opinion, for it to work. But realistically, there isn't much I didn't like at all. If I had to pick enemies I didn't like, the only thing that really annoyed me was the crimson-robed Ganados. If you didn't kill them quick enough, they would make every single Ganado in the area head explode, and it would have one of the more annoying head popper Ganados, and they were just really, really frustrating to kill if you didn't have a flashbang. If you did, it was pretty easy. But, again, picking at straws for stuff that I don't like. Also, if it didn't have as much replay value already, at the time of this video, Mercenaries has already been released. That is an absolute trip. It's super fun. That was probably my favorite thing from the OG Resident Evil 4, was the Mercenaries mode. I spent a lot more time on that than I did on the actual game, but it's just a fun ride, either version you play. I probably do already prefer the remake version, just because it has the more modern control scheme, and the fact you can play as my boy Luis Serra. If you haven't already picked it up and you're a big fan of Resident Evil 4 or just Resident Evil in general, you would be making a big mistake to miss out on this title. Honestly, it's just got everything that you need from a Resident Evil game. I'm not shilling for it because it's the new thing. I genuinely just really enjoy it. And like I said at the start of the video, I'm not the biggest fan of Resident Evil 4 OG. However, it does make me want to go back and play it again, just to kind of see if I get any form of reverse nostalgia glasses from playing the remake and then going back to the OG. You never know, I could appreciate it even more now that we have the remake. Or it could just reinforce the fact that it's not one of my favorites. But as always guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you think Resident Evil 4 Remake is a 10 out of 10, or if you would rate it lower. And also, what is your favorite Resident Evil of all time? Mine still is the original Resident Evil 3. I just love that game, and I don't think any of them will beat it, in my opinion. But as always, this is Dim Gaming, and I'll see you in the next one.